Don't make the same mistakes I made. In 16 years of flying, here are the things that I really wish I could go do over again. And stick around until the end because I'm announcing two really exciting resources that will help you avoid two of my biggest regretful mistakes that I've made. The first thing I would do is, as soon as I got my private, I wish that I would have just cranked out my instrument rating. I waited like 9 years to get my instrument, and I really regret that. And there's three huge reasons I think you ought to move as quickly as you can into getting your instrument rating, even if you don't necessarily plan on really exercising it in heavy IFR conditions. The first is that it makes you a way safer pilot. What happens as a VFR only pilot, you accidentally get into IMC and you find yourself in IFR. That can be really, really dangerous and really scary, and you just don't have to have that be the case. The second is that it will make you a way better VFR pilot. If you're flying in rural areas, particularly at night, that's basically IFR. You can't tell me that isn't pretty similar to IFR. And so having your instrument rating is just going to be really, really helpful to make you a safer VFR pilot. And the third reason is because it will make you a way safer pilot on the radio, and particularly at like non-towered, uncontrolled airports. Back when I was just a VFR only pilot, I would be lying if I said, when I was announcing myself in the pattern and someone else was on the approach or going missed or doing a hold or whatever, I would be lying if I said I knew exactly what that meant in relation to where I was. You might say you're on a left downwind and someone says they're passing over a certain fix. And to me, I think I just looked the other way. If I'm being honest with myself, I'm like, okay, well, they're, somewhere else doing something else. But the reality is like, no, they're on the approach. They're going to the same exact spot that you are on the runway, right? And so I think just having your instrument, and you don't necessarily have to have an instrument rating to understand that stuff, but for me, that was a huge light bulb where it's like, oh man, now I have the confidence to understand these IFR pilots in the pattern with me, what they're doing, where are they in the approach, what are their intentions, if they're going missed and they're going to the hold, like what does that mean for me? And so I think it's just going to make you a better overall pilot to have better situational awareness with other traffic. The second thing I would have done is I would have become a CFI while in college when I had more time. And as all of us know, life only gets busier, the farther we go along. And so later in this video, I'm going to kind of talk about a simple 3-point approach that I have to trying to make things for new things in my life, for new pursuits, in a way that we can be confident that they will get done. Because it's easy to think, like, as I'm saying right now, gosh, I wish I would have become a CFI in college. When am I ever going to have that amount of time? Well, I'm not, right? Newsflash. And so we just have to get better at deciding how to make time for things, when it's time to make time for things, that sort of thing. So I'm going to cover that later in the video. I think it'll be helpful. Number 3 is that I'm quite honestly embarrassed as to how long it's taken me to really do my own self-study on engines and on systems. And it really hasn't been until I owned an airplane that I really started taking that a lot more seriously and dedicating some time towards, not just being legal, right, but being proficient. I mean, obviously I had the knowledge to, pass the different check rides and things, but there's a difference in between knowing kind of what you need to know to get by and then just having a deeper level kind of safe understanding of a lot of those things. And so you might have heard me talk about in other videos, but there's 2 books that I really, really like that I've been reading that are helpful on this topic. The first is Mike Bush on engines. That's been an awesome read. And even as a non-engineer or non-mechanic, most of it is fairly digestible. So I highly recommend that. The link will be down in the description. And then the second video is a book on aircraft systems that I've really, really liked. So both of those are down in the description. I encourage you to pick up a copy. There's just a difference between being legal and proficient. And so now 16 years into flying, I'm working on becoming a lot more proficient. Number 4 is that I would have finished my commercial the first time around. This is embarrassing, but I'll just give it out there. Gosh, the commercial for me has just been that lingering, ongoing thing. And like the first time I finished ground school, like an intensive weekend, and then didn't take my written, and then like a few days turned into a few weeks, turned into a few months, and then I was out of it, right? And then the second time I did my written, and then I went through the training and was almost to the check ride, and then life got in the way, life got busy, and I didn't finish it. I'm so frustrated about that. And so I've been thinking a lot about that because just life gets busy, life gets in the way. And so the way that I've been starting to approach, whether it's aviation or other commitments in my life, things that I want to pursue, there's a couple steps here that I think have been really, really effective for me. I think it will be for you too. And the first is being realistic about yourself as to when is the right time to actually go pursue something, whether it's the commercial or something else non-related to aviation. But like, let's actually carve out a time where we can say, okay, for the next few months, these few months, a big portion of my life, and everyone in my life is kind of on board with the fact, like my spouse or my kids or whatever, they're on board with the fact that I'm going to be spending a dedicated portion of my time towards knocking this out. And so first you got to be realistic. And for me right now, it's not realistic for me to go get my CFI. I want for it to be, and so I'm trying to figure out the right season to do it so I can make sure I'm successful and I'm not, just really setting myself up for failure by entering into that pursuit in a time that it's just really not realistic to finish it. So the first thing is we got to find the right season. And then the second thing is once you start committing to it, I have found it really effective to actually put appointments with myself on my calendar. So just like you would any other business meeting or any doctor's appointment or something, go ahead and schedule it with yourself on the calendar and try to be diligent and disciplined to that. So if you have a meeting with yourself at 6 a.m. to go study for that commercial or for that CFI, you got to get up and you got to meet yourself at that appointment. And so you can do that with both the flying lessons and then the self-study or studying for the written, any of those things. Literally block it on the calendar and give access to whoever else needs to see it, whether it's your spouse or whoever, to say, no, this time is carved out that I'm going to be working on it. And so that combined with finding the right season for it, I think will set you up for success, because at least you're not just saying, okay, I've got good intentions that I want to finish here. It's no longer just good intentions that will get you there. It's actually blocking it off on the calendar. Number 5 is that I wish I would have given myself more freedom to go explore opportunities to build time, especially earlier in my flying career when I was trying to build time and I didn't own an airplane yet, and I was renting or flying my dad's airplane if I was in town with them or something. And so I wish that I would have given myself more allowance to do this, whether that was towing gliders or doing skydiving or pipeline inspections and a little Cessna, or if you're scrappy about it and you really try to go find things, you can find opportunities in flying. And I don't know why I didn't do that more. I think I was scared, honestly, of being told no or being told I didn't have enough experience or maybe overcommitting myself or whatever. But in the early days when I didn't own an airplane, I wish that I would have just explored those things more. I think it could have turned into some really fun adventures and some good experience. So now I'm getting all the flying I want to do because I own the airplane and stuff, but looking back, I wish that I would have been a little bit more adventurous and kind of finding other ways to fly. So speaking of owning an airplane, number 6 is that I wish that I would have bought an airplane sooner than I did. For those of you who've been watching this channel, you know that I own a Cessna 182, and I love the heck out of that airplane. It's been an awesome airplane. I wouldn't trade it for anything right now. But looking back, I wish that I wouldn't have waited until I bought a 182. I wish that I would have jumped in sooner with something smaller, both from an affordability perspective, but also just in my time flying the 182, I've realized that most of my missions, I could have gotten away with less airplane. And I don't mean less in terms of money, but just less performance, right? I could have gotten away with a smaller Cessna or maybe a little Cherokee 140 or something. Didn't need the 182 the whole time, although I'm super glad I have it. I love it. It's been the perfect airplane for me, but I could have started with a smaller airplane and done it a lot sooner in life. And so when I was upgrading my vehicle just to have a lot more space and have a truck versus a smaller car. Honestly, I think I wish that I would have gone back and bought a little 150 or something, and just used that as a stepping stone into owning an airplane and stuff. So I wish that I would have done that sooner. I also could have used more clarity at the time as to what does that process even look like. And so I'm about to announce something really, really exciting that I think can help you if you're in that stage, help you in that process. So stick around just one more minute. And finally, number 7, in order to afford an airplane sooner, I wish that I would have started a side hustle, a profitable side hustle earlier to make airplane ownership more affordable. I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, and I've started a lot of different businesses, most of which didn't work. And I've learned the hard way as to why a lot of those didn't work. And within the last few years, I have started a new side hustle making money online that literally anyone can do with a little bit of effort and some diligence. It's not day trading. It doesn't have anything to do with the stock market. And it's really worked for me, and it pays for all of my flying. And I wish that I would have known about this earlier, because it would have been the thing that I think would have made me more confident to jump into airplane ownership sooner, because I had some passive income that didn't rely on me, showing up every day from 9 to 5 in order to make that income that could have fueled my airplane ownership and aviation pursuits and things. So I wish that I would have done that sooner, but I just didn't know about it right until now. And so to those points for number 6 and 7, wishing I would have owned an airplane sooner and having a profitable side hustle that could have made owning an airplane sooner a little bit more realistic, I am really, really excited to announce 2 courses that if either of those things sound interesting to you, I promise these will help. And so coming soon, I'm going to be launching a course talking about the step-by-step process towards buying an airplane and all the things we should consider. I'm going to bring in some of my aviation mentors that'll be on camera with me, kind of giving their input on it, people who've done it a lot more than I have, and I think it's going to be a really great resource for you interested in buying an airplane. And then the second thing to kind of go along with it, it'll be a separate course, but I think it'll be helpful, is I'm putting together a course talking about how I make money passively online. And it's not gimmicks or anything. Like, if you've been watching this channel at any for any length of time, I hope you know that I try to be a pretty genuine guy and kind of a straight shooter, and so the way that I'm making money online through my different websites and my YouTube channel and things, like, it really works, and I can teach you how to do it. And there's another resource that I'll link that kind of gives you the exact steps and stuff. So anyways, I don't mean to get long-winded on it, but I'm just really, really excited about it, because if I could go back several years and talk to Charlie then, these are the 2 things that I would have given to younger Charlie to say, do this, and you can own an airplane and you can have some income that will pay for all of it. Like, that's such a cool scenario. And so I'm not blowing smoke. I really think that those will help you, and hopefully help a lot of people, because I want more people to have access to aviation. So I'm going to kind of pull the curtain back a little bit and just show you exactly how I do it. And I think it's going to be fun. So anyways, getting to the point, if you want more information on those courses, you can sign up for my waiting list at airplaneacademy.com/join. So you'll join the waiting list, so you'll be the first to know when those courses launch. And then in the meantime, you're going to get some helpful emails that start with my biggest lessons that I've learned in 16 years of aviation, the good ones and the bad ones, that I think will be useful to you in the meantime. And then you'll be the first to know when those courses are going to launch. So I'm so excited. I think all of these things, looking back, things that I wanted to change, I don't want to just live in the past and say shoulda, woulda, coulda, but I really want to, and I encourage you too, to take those things that you wish you would have done and figure out how to make that change your future, right? I think that's the best thing we can do with either regrets or mistakes or things we wish we would have done differently. How do we make that impact what we do from here? And so I hope that I've been able to present that in this video and help you be kind of introspective about that as well. So, and I also hope that these courses are really going to be valuable to you. I'm very, very confident they will be if it's something that interests you. So airplaneacademy.com/join, get on the waiting list, and can't wait to talk to you guys in the meantime and hopefully build something that's going to be really, really helpful and valuable to you in your aviation journey.